Vigilante tube passengers face arrest over assault of mentally ill naked man on the tube. Wow, it sounds like they just beat up this poor random man. What a terrible thing. Why would everyone all at once just join in and decide to do that? Let's have a look at the actual fact. Bear in mind this is LBC. Wow, that's crazy. Wow, is he naked? Did he get like no trousers on? Wow, what could be going on? Vigilante commuters who leapt into action when a tube passenger dropped his trousers in a packed carriage with children present could be arrested for taking the law into their own hands. The police really doesn't like it when people do that. They come down hard on vigilantes because if there's one thing the government doesn't like is people coming after their monopoly on violence. But anyway, commuters could have assaulted the naked man on the District Line in East London, British Transport Police believe. London Underground passengers tackled and removed a naked man from the tube train after he removed his trousers and flashed young children. Now, in a good society, in a perfect society, doing that type of stuff around children would in fact get you stomped on. Right, you don't do stuff like that around kids, right? That makes you a little bit of a beast. A lot of people outside Scotland don't know that up here, beast means pedo. That's our word for nonce. So that's why whenever you see guys in American gyms like doing deadlifts and everything, and go, "Yeah, I'm a fucking beast," we're like, "What?" But anyway. London Underground passengers tackled and removed a naked man from the tube train after he removed his trousers and flashed young children. Detectives are now probing into whether the train travellers committed any criminal offences. No, I don't believe they did. I don't believe they did. Also, I believe the man's a migrant as well. And they're saying, "Oh, he's mentally ill," and it's like, no, it's good. Yeah, it's totally that, and it's nothing to do with the fact that he's from a completely backwards culture, where just taking your trousers off on a crowded train in front of children is just fine and hunky-dory, apparently. The incident, captured by a fellow passenger on the Hammersmith and City line at around 3:30pm on Thursday, August the 7th, shows the male passenger, who is seen to wear only headphones and a t-shirt, then becoming confrontational, because people were saying, "Hey, big guy, could you maybe not pull your penis out in front of children? Could you maybe not do that?" And he got upset about that. He got upset about, a civilized society having rules. Well, pseudo-civilized. We're trying our best, but it's very difficult. Very difficult to keep it civilized these days. When challenged on his behaviour at Upton Park Station, the man raises his voice, repeatedly shouting, "Fuck off." Yeah, how dare you filthy whiteys, challenge me for pulling my dick out around children. This guy seems like a very functioning member of society, someone that we definitely want to be here. There he is, just standing there with the tallywhacker out. Unfortunate blur mark, mate. God damn, that thing's tiny. Anyway, fellow passengers can then be heard to say, "What do you mean, fuck off? You need to get off the fucking train. Now there are kids on here." A very normal thing to say in such a situation. I see no issue here whatsoever. As more commuters begin to gather, the man continues to rant expletives, with a number of concerned passengers glancing at one another as the situation escalates. However, the incident quickly descends into chaos as violence erupts, with women seen to move further along the carriage as the growing group confronts the man. Good. Like, obviously, women, get the hell out of there. Right? Don't be involved in that situation, especially not round a crazy naked man flashing his willy on the bloody train. The footage then appears to show a flurry of punches and kicks rain down as the man is pinned against the carriage doors. Wow, people are fed up, aren't they? People are just really fed up whenever they see this stuff in society now. They just start throwing punches because people are fed up. And I am not condoning or encouraging violence in any way, but if you want this type of behaviour to stop, people need to start facing some repercussions, right? You can't have people writing articles like this, like, these vigilante racists saw a black man and decided to beat him up. What was the black man doing again? Oh yeah, he was pulling his dick out in front of kids. That's why people started throwing punches. This was all an effort to protect children. And I guarantee you the guy's going to think twice about doing that again, especially if he's just going to get jumped. Right? If people don't want to live in a civilized society, then that's just what's going to happen. I'm sorry, but back in the day, if a guy pulled his dick out around kids, that is just what happened. That's just what happened to the guy. Everybody would come running out their houses down the street to beat the pedo, right? That was good times. I miss those times. Simpler times. Better times. But anyway, moments later, the man can be seen to be tackled to the ground by the group and detained, well, which I think Is there a citizen's arrest because a man exposed himself to children? The man should then be arrested, charged, placed on the sex offenders register, all the bells and whistles, all that stuff. That is what used to happen. Back in the day when you had like the trench coat flashing guys, nobody went, oh, he's poor mental health. Oh, he's obviously a mentally ill individual. We're going to write a bunch of articles gushing about him and attacking the people that bloody beat him up. Like, no. No, I'm sorry, but no. Pinned down with his hands behind his back as the group then carry him from the train and onto the platform at the next station. In a statement, British Transport Police confirmed that they were aware of the incident. Taking to social media, BTS are currently investigating this incident. What do a bunch of K-poppers have to do with the London Tube? Sorry, it was too easy. They added, the man in the video has been detained under the Mental Health Act and is in hospital. There have been no arrests after the brawl. Now, in that incident, right, in this instance, I think that the people should not be charged. There was a situation which placed children at risk, right? I believe, call me old-fashioned, that children should not be exposed to such things. I think children shouldn't be exposed to that. And I think if you tell the guy, hey, could you kind of maybe not do that around children? We see that as kind of, rude, little bit of a social faux pas, and the person starts saying fuck off and screaming and starts getting violent and stuff like that. Hey ho, men, stand up. Right? And the man got his head kicked in for it, right? And that's just what happens. I just think that's what happens especially when you do stuff like that around children, especially when there's women on the train who feel very, very uncomfortable, especially when the country's being absolutely annihilated with sexual assaults fucking everywhere. That women might feel a little bit uncomfortable about witnessing something like that, especially in an enclosed space like the tube that they can't just readily leave. Right? I would understand why people would be a little bit sketchy about that. Now, the reason why this happened is people are getting sick and fed up, right? Oh, we've detained him under the Mental Health Act. The guy's going to face no charges. How do they know his mental history? He's probably been in the country 2 weeks. And he's going to go, very, very sorry, officer. I'm a little bit mentally unwell, and I didn't know I wasn't allowed to do that. And then the police officers will go, oh, you poor little thing, here's a hotel, here's a TV, here's all that stuff, and they'll just get money and everything flung at them, and now what they're doing is they're actually coming after the guys who beat the guy up. So basically, what this means is, if a man pulls his penis out in front of a bunch of children, you're not allowed to do anything about it. You're not allowed to do anything about it, lest you be arrested as a vigilante. Right, that's the message that this sends. Now, the way I see it, no, in fact, no, I'm not going to do that, because I do not encourage violence in any way. I do not encourage or condone violence in any way. However, this is a massive display of fuck around and find out. Now, a lot of people in this country have been fucking around for a very, very long time. And unfortunately, they have not been, let's say, discovering some new information, right? But what's happening is the populace are starting to get very, very fed up. They did ask the guy nicely at first, and he told them to fuck off. So what happened was people stood up, and the man found out. And things aren't going to change until a lot more people start fucking finding out.